And launching on November 5th, we have Age of Galaxy, and this plays 1 to 4 players and takes about 45 to 60 minutes to play. And if you like big 4X games, you'll probably want to hear about this one. And if you hate giant 4X games, you'll definitely want to hear about this one. This game is offering a very interesting package because it fits an entire galactic civilization game that combines 4X and Euro elements into a very small travel-sized box. Not only that, but this game also has some really cool ideas going for it. Rather than playing as a single faction or civilization, a single player can actually play as an alliance of 3 civilizations. So that's going to create a ton of different permutations and unique combos by combining their different strengths and special abilities. As I've been researching this game, it really seems like all the design choices are really going to give you that feel of a big 4X game, but then deliver it in a really tight and streamlined package that is not too overwhelming with components or rules or long play times. So I think this is presenting a really excellent option for people that want to have that 4X experience, but at a very low barrier to entry. And from what I've seen from actually digging into the rules, it seems like this is going to do a really great job of it. So if you love 4X games and want more excuses to play them more frequently, I think this is a great option. But if 4X games have turned you off in the past, whether it's because they're too intimidating or they just don't seem like they're worth all that effort, I definitely recommend looking into this one because this is your chance to have that experience, but in a very welcoming and accessible package. And for that reason, this one is my pick of the week. I also really love how the map is laid out in this game. Rather than having a huge sprawling map of hexes, this game actually uses a set of cards, and you're only going to be using a subset of cards each game, so there's going to be a little bit of randomness and variability from game to game. But then each card also has a number of icons where you're going to be randomly assigning different planets. So another great design choice where you're getting random cards, but then you're also randomly placing the planets out on those cards, adding to the variability in the map setup in a very streamlined fashion. And the way that players choose the 3 factions that they want to form into their alliance is that they'll be drafting 7 faction cards at the start of the game, and these faction cards are multi-use, so the 3 will become your main factions that you'll be forming your alliance with, and then the remaining 4 cards will still be used, but for their secondary actions as support cards. The game plays over 5 rounds, and each round has 4 phases. The first phase is the production phase, where players will gain money based on the empire that they've built throughout the galaxy. The next phase is the action phase, where players will take turns performing different actions, both on a central board as well as on their personal tech tree boards. And the different actions they can perform is to explore and colonize different areas of space, develop and research tech, defenses, and starship upgrades, and trade and gain influence in the Galactic Senate, as well as retrieve or scavenge resources throughout the galaxy. After the action phase, there's the war phase, where players will simply gain rewards for having more cruisers than the other players. But if a single player has the most cruisers, then they can also attack other players' planets within their reach and potentially take them away from the other players. These planets won't necessarily grant you victory points if they're not in line with your factions, but they will help you remove victory points from the other players. And the final phase is the Galactic Phase, where players will reveal the next galaxy card and add the random planets, and then initiate the next round. The game starts with only 2 visible galaxy cards, and more will be revealed as the game progresses. And I also want to mention that this game has a ton of reviews and comments over on Board Game Geek, so I definitely recommend going and checking that out if you want to see for yourself what people have to say from people that have actually played the game. The amount of reviews I'm seeing here is really impressive for a game that hasn't been released on Kickstarter yet, so it really gives me confidence that the designers are doing everything that they can to playtest this and make it the best game that they possibly can. This is one of those games that was completely off my radar, but after seeing all this, I am super excited for it. Highly recommend checking this one out, and if it interests you, don't forget you can click to get notified, and links to all these campaigns are in the description below.